Hi guys, thank you for watching. Today we have a very important subject. What is the right depth of stretch mark camouflage and how do I practice? I will also give you some useful tips along the way. If you are a permanent makeup artist, a microblader, or maybe a tattoo artist, you know how important the understanding of human skin is. I noticed through years of my own experience that human skin can be sometimes unpredictable and some people just don't take the skin seriously. Although you physically see only one layer of your skin, it's actually composed of 3 different layers including the epidermis, dermis, hypodermis. The dermis is the part of the skin where pigment is introduced during pigmentation processes. If the pigment is inserted too deep into the dermis, the pigment will certainly expand over time. However, if the pigment intake is too shallow, it will fade too quickly. In this case, there is still the possibility of correction, so in the beginning it is better to be careful and to repeat the procedure several times. This also means you have to do a lot of practice before you start with your models. I practice on artificial skin and on fruit as well. Artificial skin is great to practice the technique itself and to get a sense of how to perform and achieve an even coverage. Fruit practice is good to get a sense of depth. I use turnip or radish because the two are not too soft and have just the right consistency for practice. First, I will show you how to practice on artificial skin. I will set the right needle depth and go for device speed on 2 out of 6. I'm not going into the skin with a full needle. I'm carefully performing the technique to do the pattern with the same pressure. Once I do at least 10 rows, I will wipe off the pigment to see where I am at. You can see that these first 3 rows don't have a unified coating. That is because I wasn't careful at how much pressure I put in. The next 3 rows are too shallow because the pattern is barely visible. The last 4 rows are the look we are going for. The pigment has lighter color than it was in the pigment ring, the texture is seen and the pattern is even. When you practice, make sure you really do a lot of different approaches to be 100% sure before you go into the real skin. It can be quite difficult to learn the right depth of the needle. If you want to master this technique, I suggest you also practice on turnip or radish. I have a piece of turnip today, so let's see how to practice on it. Since stretch mark camouflage is a treatment where results are seen after 30 days, you need to be aware of the basic facts about the treatment. You can see potential mistakes if you observe the treatment and test out some facts before you coat someone's entire body. If you insert the pigment into the skin and it looks darker than it is, you are too deep. If the pigment is pale and chalky, you are too shallow. If you see some blood drops, you are also too deep. The color of the pigment intake and the depth can be experienced with practice on the turnip. I will use one side to show you a too deep intake and the other side for just the right intake. When I wipe the coating off, you can clearly see the color of the pigment here is too dark and the structure of the turnip looks like we sliced it. This is the wrong way of doing the treatment. If we translate this into a real-life example, the client would experience bleeding and pain. The healed results would be horrific. Instead, let's take a look at the other side where we have a great example. The pigment is spilled like a watercolor, looks lighter in the skin than it is in the bottle, and the texture is not damaged. This is the right way to do it. Here are my tips. Always hold the device closer to the cartridge, don't hold it too high. You will have a better grip if you hold it lower. Also, use your pinky finger to lean on the skin. It helps to have a better control. So guys, again, I really can't stress enough how important it is to practice. It takes your time, yes, but practice makes perfect and after a while you will be the best at what you do. Try different positions of your hand, try holding the device at different angles and positions, and with time you will get better. Do you have any questions for me? Comment down below and see you in the next video. Bye guys!